Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order, that being the special council meeting of Warwick Township Council, June 26, 2023. I remind council of disclosure of pecuniary interest or conflict of interest. If you have one, please declare it at the proper time. We welcome everybody who's on the Warwick Township YouTube station. I'm now going to do the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land on which we are gathered here today, Township of Warwick, is located on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, as well as the many Indigenous nations in Ontario, whose footsteps have marked them for centuries. We also wish to acknowledge that we are situated on Treaty 29 and Treaty 25 territories signed by Chippewa chiefs and offer our respect and gratitude for these lands. I'm now going to go to number 5 on the agenda, and that's councillor items. I'm going to, or pardon me, councillor commitments first. Does anybody have anything new when it comes to commitment dates for holidays? Yes, Deputy Mayor Kallenberg.
I'll be away July 20 or July 15th, 16th as well.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anybody else have anything to add to the list? Okay, I'm going to go to councillor items, and I'm going to call on Councillor Manning. I think he may have a few words he'd like to share with us today. Councillor Manning.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to take this chance to thank everybody that came out. We had our 150th this weekend, and it was an excellent turnout, an excellent run event. It was amazing. Everything went so smooth. Large due part to our planning committees, our subcommittees, and all the volunteers we had. Amazing weekend. Township staff too helped out a lot of support. And I'd like to just say thanks to the town too for supporting it. It was amazing. An excellent turnout.
Well, thank you very much, Councillor Manning. And on that note, congratulations once again to you, the organizing committee, the subcommittee folks, as well as all the volunteers, the 100+ that volunteered their time over this weekend. We as a council couldn't be prouder of what you folks accomplished, and it was so nice to see the positivity that was throughout our municipality for the whole 3 days. And I made the comment the other night that I felt like I was on Main Street Grand Bend on a busy summer weekend. So thank you. And to everybody involved for what they did. I'd also like to send out a thank you to Ryan and his staff when it comes to our facilities, the arena, the grounds, and everything. Ryan, you guys did an absolutely spectacular job. It was clean, lots of very positive comments, a lot of activity going on over 3 days, and you guys met the challenge and then some. So I just wanted to make sure that we didn't forget to thank you and your team. Please take that back to them. You did an outstanding job, and also to our staff who assisted throughout the process. So, I mean, thank you very much, everybody. Anybody else have anything for council's items?
Everything and took the chance to make our Main Street look a lot better. As well as I'd like to thank the committee and everything, everybody else too. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Councillor Westgate. So no, again, just to wrap up an incredible 3 days, Joe, Councillor Manning, you and your committee did an outstanding job, something to be very proud of. And I know every resident in our community is thankful for your effort and what you did. So thank you very much. Excellent job. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to staff items. Do we have anything on from staff items, Amanda? Seeing none. We have no new business unless anybody has something they want to bring up. I'm not seeing any. Thank you. So we're going to go to delegations. So we have Wayne Jenkin from WM, landfill engineer, and manager John McDonald from WM, and senior district manager Louisa Furtado. And they're all here today to make a presentation on soils on the Twin Creeks landfill site. So folks, please join us up here. We'll have you come up. There's 3 chairs right to my right. So we'll have you share the 2 microphones. All you need to do is push the button and the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us here today. Just to put some faces to names, Louisa here on my far left, John beside me, and I'm Wayne. So thank you again for having us. As Mayor Case said, we're here today to talk about soils. Soils is a new opportunity for our operations at Twin Creeks. And we're excited to present this delegation package to you today. We're hoping that this leads to some further discussion, potential revenue share opportunities, potential additional development at the site. And we are sharing delegation up on the screen. I have it here in front of me so that I'm not constantly turning around to look at the screen behind me. So onto the agenda. Love it. Onto the agenda page. We're going to hit a few topics here, just some generalities about Twin Creeks. We're going to talk about excess soil, specifically the new regulation in Ontario, OREG 406, which differentiates now between what is called waste excess soil and reuse excess soil. We're going to talk about how this could be incorporated into Twin Creeks, what the layout of the site could look like, some next steps, and some engagement, involvement, and approvals that we're going to require from the municipality should this project proceed, and then open the floor to questions at the end. Okay. I don't know, a few minutes, maybe 10 for me to fumble through this. Okay. You have all seen this slide before. This is information about the Twin Creeks landfill, the Twin Creeks Environmental Center. When we were here delegating for our RNG project, which we're also super excited about, we introduced this information. I think all of you are familiar with our site, but again, just to hit a few of the highlights. The landfill portion of the Environmental Center is approved to receive municipal, industrial, commercial, and institutional solid non-hazardous waste, including non-hazardous contaminated soil. Okay, so that is now what's called the waste excess soil. Okay, in addition to that, there's also this reuse excess soil, which is really what we're here to talk about today. Okay, flipping to a nice graphic that is intended to show kind of how soil projects work in the province and how Twin Creeks can be part of this solution. So on the left side of the screen is the project area, meaning a development, a redevelopment, a brownfield, a gas station cleanup, whatever that might look like. That will now generate two types of soil. The top line being the excess soil being reused, not considered waste in the province anymore. Okay. It can be sent to a reuse site. We're looking to designate the Twin Creeks Environmental Center as a reuse site. At the bottom of the page is non-reusable excess soil, which we've always called cover material or contaminated soil. It's now non-reusable excess soil, and it continues to go to a disposal site. Here in the middle is a new opportunity called a temporary site. What this site allows generators to do and receivers to do is to bring that material to a temporary site, test it, classify it, determine if it's excess for reuse, excess not for reuse, and designate it accordingly. Okay. That moves us on to the first of three opportunities that we're presenting here together today as one overall soil discussion. Okay. The first relates to our alternative daily cover. Okay. Twin Creeks is permitted to use site soil, which is clean soil out of excavations, and alternative daily cover for the daily cover needs at the landfill. And yes, I know I just said daily cover like 4 times in one sentence, but I think it was worded correctly. Alternative daily cover permitted at the site include contaminated soil, or now this waste excess soil, as well as shredder residue from automobiles, wood chips, and tarps. I mentioned here again, the contaminated soil is now waste excess soil. WM has issues the Twin Creeks landfill specifically has issues attracting alternative daily cover to the site due to gate rates, transportation costs, etc. And when alternative daily cover is not available for use, we use clean soil, clean fill out of our excavations. Okay. We share revenue from the landfill with the host municipality, with Warwick Township here, on waste that is received. We do not share revenue on clean soil or excavated material that's used. We'd like to minimize the amount of clean soil that's used and use more alternative daily cover, including both this reuse soil and this waste soil going forward. Okay. We've been here in the past and have successfully negotiated in the past a reduced revenue share for soil. Again, as part of this overall picture, we would like to talk about that. And I think that through negotiations and discussions with the township, we'll be able to demonstrate how, although there will be potentially a reduction in our annual contribution because the royalty share on waste versus soil, we're proposing something lower to be discussed. Over time, because we're not using clean soil, we will use that airspace at the landfill for more soil in the future, generating more revenue share. Okay. But again, this is the small piece. Moving into one more slide, the reuse excess soil. Okay. So I've already covered the new regulation, which is some provincially enforceable rules for managing excess soil. And what we've identified is that this soil needs to be reused for a beneficial use. Okay. We can use the soil beneficially for a number of different uses listed there at the bottom. Daily cover, final cover, we can do some additional stockpiles, change our screening berms, and add additional screening berms. We have done some calculations on the potential volume of this reuse excess soil that could be received at the site. And that volume totals just almost 11 million metric tons of soil that could be brought into the site. Oh, thank you. And we would share revenue with the municipality on this additional 11 million tons of material that is not waste, not contaminated soil, not within the airspace volume of the landfill, but additional soil to the site. Okay. The table presented here are approximate numbers, all to be refined, all to be determined. And as we work through this process, we will work through with you on the technical review of this information, et cetera. And that perfect. That leads to the proposed locations of where we could beneficially reuse this excess soil. That's what's shown on site today. The green is the landfill footprint filled with waste. The yellow are stockpiles where we could create additional screening berms or enlarge screening berms around the site to house this or beneficially reuse this excess soil. Okay. This next slide is kind of a picture of the southern part of Ontario. There's a couple yellow dots. These yellow dots are the current registered sites that can receive excess soil in the province. Okay. The size of the dot demonstrates the capacity or the volume that can be received by those sites. And really what this slide is intended to show is that Central Ontario is currently not serviced or underserviced. Central Southwest Ontario is currently underserviced with no receiving sites identified or registered to receive this material. We would like to be the solution to this potential opportunity and be partners with the municipality in this opportunity. In order to proceed with this, however, we require municipal approval, specifically a couple bullets listed here. First, we need to complete a site-specific fill management plan. We require the municipality to review and approve that fill management plan. And with approval, Twin Creeks can then register to receive these reuse soils. Okay, so in all intents and purposes here, the municipality is a gatekeeper. The municipality will control whether this project proceeds or doesn't. And with approval, we would then proceed on to site plan approval and the other necessary permits to operate this type of facility. Okay. The third opportunity that exists at Twin Creeks is the sale of excess soil from the landfill. Okay. So over time, the landfill has excavated a significant volume of soil, roughly 2.5 to 3 million cubic meters of material have come out of the excavations, are currently stockpiled to the south end of the site. That material is clean, reusable excess soil that could be offered to the market. And specifically, we've identified an opportunity for generators who bring either reusable or waste excess soil to the landfill to haul back clean soil to refill their locations, okay, their project sites, okay? We would like the opportunity to sell that excess soil, generate revenue, share that revenue again with the municipality, okay? So opportunity 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So to kind of summarize here on a next step slide, thank you. There are 4 steps to this process. What we would like to do first is to, with council's blessing, approval, etc., proceed to a smaller group and work through negotiating a revenue share agreement on these 3 opportunities. Subsequent to that, well, kind of concurrently with that, we would begin developing our fill management plan, submit that to the municipality for review and hopefully ultimately approval. We would then proceed to a site plan amendment and ultimately to an ECA amendment for our waste and sewage permits for the landfill. That would then let us run all of these steps to these 1, 2, and 3 opportunities. Okay. So that brings us to questions. I know I kind of ran through that quickly. I hope I presented it clearly. But again, all 3 of us are here to address any questions that you have initially. And then any questions you have follow up to this, we would welcome as well.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Wayne, for the presentation. Now, one thing I want to clarify right off the bat, I thought that this soil would be in addition to the 1.4 million tons that you've already been approved for on the MSW side. The way you talked, there would be a reduction on the MSW side. Can I get clarification? Because I thought this was over and above the 1.4 millions of MSW, for which we receive a lot more money than obviously what you're proposing for the soils.
Yep, I'm going to handle that in 2 parts. In terms of the more or less money, all to be negotiated, all to be discussed. In terms of the addition to the 1.4, it's both. So a small portion of it, the 168,000, is our daily cover requirements in the landfill. That volume is part of the 1.4. It's no longer contaminated soil, which is what our current host agreement refers to. It is this new identified waste excess soil. So we'd like that opportunity to discuss with council or a smaller group, whatever that turns out to be, an opportunity to discuss that part of our revenue share, our host municipality agreement. The larger part, this 11 million tons of new material, this reuse excess soil, is above and beyond the 1.4.
Okay, so that, just to clarify, because I think in your opening remarks, you almost alluded to whether it be a reduction on the MSW 1.4. So that's good for clarification. The 1.4 would stay in place, and then these soils would be over and above if we saw fit to move forward on.
And I think even doing the delegation here today, I identified that the 3 opportunities weren't necessarily clear. And so I tried to wordsmith that in the delegation today, but I think it's to take that opportunity to again describe 3 opportunities all presented as part of one larger delegation here today. Alternative daily cover, reuse soil being received at the site, and clean soil available for sale from the site.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Council, do we have any questions for Wayne or any of the other presenters? Councilor Morris. On again.
We'll turn it back.
Sorry about that. What is the difference between the soil you're bringing in that's non-contaminated and the soil that you intend to sell that's non-contaminated? Are they not the same?
No, thank you. I have a button pusher here and I appreciate him very much. There's a lot of information in this new regulation, this Ontario Reg 406. And what it does is it classifies soil into a number of tables. Okay. So all of the tables are less than what we currently receive at the site that we identify as contaminated soil or material that we use for cover. Okay. There are specifically 7 tables, 1 through 7, each of them with different levels of permitted contaminants, maybe is a word, and also available for use in different settings. Okay, so available for use where there's a non-potable groundwater environment. Okay, where the municipality has municipal water supplied, where there are not groundwater wells. Meaning in our case, in a landfill environment.
Okay.
Okay, so each of those change a little bit. The difference being contaminated soil. The current word contaminated soil is beyond these tables of what can be beneficially reused and the opportunity we're discussing here today.
Thank you. My other question was about the traffic, the trucks. How many extra trucks do you figure you'll be taking per day? Like with our traffic control?
Yep, too early to answer that question. We understand that traffic will need to be assessed. We will want to do a traffic management study as part of this project. The development of this opportunity will also be over a duration, right? Not over a month or a year. This could likely be 10+ years to bring this material into site. The market is still also being developed for this, meaning our internal sales team needs to learn a lot more. We've got a ways to go. But yes, traffic studies for sure need to be completed. However, a part of this material is already coming to site, either as waste or as material that we're using for construction. So there will be a bit of an offset there as well. Not necessarily the 11 million opportunity we're discussing, but a portion of that.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question? Yes, Councillor Mann.
Yeah, excuse me, I just have a kind of a question on clarification here on your excess soil management process chart. So where are you proposing that this is going to fall on the chart? Will it be after the temporary site and the reuse? Or are we going to be in the middle of the temporary site?
Yep. Nope, great question and thank you. And again, this is proposed to be developed over time. And probably the best slide to discuss this is slide 7. I know you referred to the graphic and it is usable. But what we've attempted to do here in the middle couple columns is to show what's currently approved at the landfill and what requires municipal approval in order to proceed further. Okay. So based on the beneficial reuses that we've identified where this excess soil could be reused, the landfill can currently use that material for daily cover, for final cover, for thickening our final cover, etc., all without permit. However, there are additional approvals down further in the 2 columns that require municipal approval. That changes the graphic we were looking at earlier in that currently we can go top or bottom on that line and either reuse excess soil or landfill waste soil. What we'd like to do over time is to be able to use both of them, both in the landfill and off the landfill footprint, but within the overall 300 hectare landfill site, and also implement the temporary stockpile that you see in the middle of that graphic and be able to review, analyze, and determine which direction to send that soil based on testing at the site. But again, multi-stage over a number of steps based on what the site is approved to do today and where we'd like to go. Did that?
Yeah, that pretty much did. I'm just kind of curious, like, are you anticipating double handling a lot of material? Will you be bringing a lot of material and testing it? And then if it doesn't pass the standards you're looking for, will you be sending it out? Or you anticipate, because I know with the worry about traffic control, that'll increase a lot of traffic just on double handling. And will we still be getting the rates on the stuff that you decide that we don't use? So I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. So again, a lot of information still to be determined, still to be negotiated and discussed. We anticipate there's always some level of testing done before the material arrives. Then it would either be used beneficially on site or landfilled on site. It wouldn't be expected that it would leave site. That answer, though, is different for the sale of our excess soil. That would be material exported from site. So a combination of yes and no to each of those scenarios.
Anybody else have any questions for our presenters? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. Obviously, we have some work to do. We have to take a look at what your proposal is and I guess see what it means to us. And as you said, Wayne, there's a lot of back and forth to be done still here and some due diligence on our part as well. So thank you very much for coming today. We appreciate your presentation. Thank you.
And thank you very much for having us.
Okay, council, we already talked about new business number 8. I skipped over it from 7. There was no new business. Excuse me. Now I'm going to ask for a motion to go in camera. And that motion would be that Warwick Township Council moves into an in-camera meeting of council pursuant to section 239, 3.1 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the educational or training of council related to the development of an updated strategic plan for the Township of Warwick, this term of council 22 to 2026. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Manning and Councillor Morris. Everybody in favor? That's passed. Oh, sorry. Amanda, you have a comment?
Thanks, Mayor Case. Just for the public record, that resolution actually was noted incorrectly on the agenda. So to clarify, my apologies. We're moving in camera for the same reasons, education and training, but focused on emergency management training, not strategic plan training. So my apologies for that error.
Okay, let the record be changed to include what the clerk has just said. So anyways, we have a mover and we had a second and it's been carried. So this would conclude the public portion of our meeting today. We will now be going in camera and we will not be coming back to public session during this meeting. So thank you very much to everybody that's joined us.